Hello, everyone. Can you guys just let me know if you guys can hear me okay? You guys already know the routine. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I started a few minutes early just because this isn't going to be a long stream. So I'm just trying to get an early start to it. But just let me know in the comments, anybody, just a thumbs up. Can you guys hear me? The worst thing is when I'm talking and no one hears me. I've done it before. Um, Oh, there we go. There you guys are. Now I can see the comments. Heather Marie says, sounds good. Thank you, Heather Marie, for that. Says, I can hear you. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, thank you. So today is Monday, August 8th, and today's live stream is going to kind of be, I guess it's considered an update to where we left off on Thursday. And Thursday we had our first live with this case, and that is going to be the case of Shana Dimambro. She's 45 years old from Spring Branch, Texas. So all my Texas people, hey, hey, hey. Every time I think of Texas, I always think everything is bigger in Texas. Is that true? Let me know in the comments. But we're going to kind of leave off from there because Comal County actually on Friday they released a statement and it's kind of left a lot of us scratching our heads. So we're going to go over that today. Thank you, Nicole. She says Texas loves you, CCC. Well, I'm glad. I love you guys too. You guys are always up in the chat. And how's the weather out there today? Kind of hot. It's still hot. It's 98 here in Arizona right now. So yeah, she says yes, it's true. So everything is bigger in Texas. Good to know. Good to know. All right. So while we let people kind of still get the alerts, since I did start early, I'm going to kind of just give you guys a little recap. Hello to my mods that are already here and anyone that does get in. Um, Jetta from Texas says, howdy, y'all. NYC loves you. Well, I love NYC. I've always wanted to go out there and travel. I have some of my team is from there too. So while people join in, let me just get you guys kind of a little recap. Let me share this with you. She says it's hot. It's 89 in Cali today. Ooh, that's good weather though, Heather. 89? That's good weather. Nicole says it's hot in Texas. Yeah, right now it's still hot here in Arizona still. Hey, Pink, what's up? What's up? All right, so today we're talking again about this case, and this is going to be Shana right here on the screen that you're looking at with the beautiful smile. And next to her is her husband, Chris Anthos. They actually were married for about a year, and they actually celebrated a anniversary in May. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the details of the case because I already did that on Thursday, but they've been married a year together, about 2 years on July 19th. Hey, Valerie. On July 19th, hold on, let me just move this around. On July 19th, her husband would report her missing. Now, the story is that the night before, she was actually, he said that she looked depressed, she had sadness in her eyes, and that she was going through some spiritual warfare, that she had suffered from an addiction, but long ago, but she was still dealing, I guess, with stuff like that. He says the next day, so that would have been the evening of the 18th, the next day on the 19th, he says that in the morning they woke up around 6:30 and he's getting ready for work and he still notices that she looks sad in her eyes. He asks her, can you do laundry, and then he leaves work. Now he says that he works usually about 45 minutes away, but that day he was actually working closer to where they live, and then he had some time till he got his next sales call, which would have been at 2 p.m., he says. So he decided to go and check on his wife. He gets there and he says that everything looked okay, like there was no signs of a struggle or anything like that. Her phone was plugged into the charger in the wall, which I think is also interesting. Her cigarettes were outside next to a cup of water that was full. I also think that's interesting. He also says that her purse with everything in it, keys, wallet, were there, and then her car was there. Now, he also states that their dog, who's like their baby, and he said, let me make sure I say this correctly, because I also thought this was interesting. he said that their dog, to his surprise, she was out of the kennel. So that is just an interesting fact, I think. And of course, Shana is nowhere to be found. Now he looks for her. He goes to the laundromat. That's about 100 yards. Looks for her. She's not there. And then he then leaves and goes to a place called Brick Station. And he sees, he drives around to see if she's like wandering, and she was not. So then he comes back, calls the cops, reports her missing, and then he calls her father and lets them know. Now, fast forward really quick, 10 days after she was reported missing, her body would be discovered 200 yards from where they lived, in a dry retention pond. Now, I do want to say that two of the searchers who found Shana did say that one of them said that she was, and this, just a little trigger warning, that she was face down, kind of in a crawling position. The other one said that he had seen what looked like drag marks next to her body. Again, this is coming from the people that found her, not from law enforcement. Now, after this, Comal County kind of was quiet. The only thing they gave us was this statement. And I just want to look at chat, make sure I didn't miss anybody coming in. Now, this was the statement they gave us after her body was found. And I'm going to read it really quick to you. So on Friday, July 29th, 2022, at approximately 7:50 p.m., the Comal County Sheriff's Office responded to the 200 block of Mitchell Drive in Spring Branch for a body that was found to be deceased. CCSO immediately responded and located a decomposed body. Preliminary identification of the decomposed body based on specific physical characters led investigators to believe it is the body of Shana Dimambro. Now, it is said that it was her tattoos. Now, Comal County Justice of the Peace Judge Walker pronounced the body deceased and ordered an autopsy. The remains have been sent to Travis County in order to receive positive identifications. Now, investigators have been in contact with the Dimambro family and they have been made aware of preliminary findings. The investigation into the deceased individual and Shana Dimambro's disappearance remain ongoing. So this was the only thing that Comal County Sheriff's, they actually gave us on their own social media. Okay. After that, we didn't hear anything from them. And it wasn't until Friday that this actually, it's been updated, but this was put out by New Braunfels Herald. Now, they have released statements to them, and I really wish that Comal County would have put something like an official statement on their own social media, or even gave us a news presser where we can watch and listen to their own wording, but they didn't give that to us. So I guess now it is confirmed that it is her, even though we kind of already knew it was. And I'm going to go ahead and just read this to you guys. Andrew123 says 200 yards is the same distance as three sisters were found dead in the pond on a neighboring property in Texas. Girls ages lower than 10 years. Oh, I haven't heard of that one, Andrew. Yeah, 200 yards from where she lived. I do want to say also where she was found, it is private property. The searchers actually had to get permission from the owner. He doesn't live there. They found out who the owner was. They set up a date and time, and that's when the owner opened the gate and allowed them to go in there and took one of the searchers at the time to where they looked around and then they found her there. So, and the property does have like a fence going around it. Noko says, as a Texan, I feel like the law is hiding so much from us lately. I feel like sometimes like that with other cases too, but then I also understand and I always remind myself that, it's an open investigation. Of course, they're going to keep most things close to the vest. Us as the public, they're not going to release certain things that can jeopardize an investigation. Um, I really don't know this county. I don't think I've ever covered a case in this county, to be honest with you. I have heard that there was a female that went missing somewhere around here back in 2016, I think. But other than that, I haven't really heard much about this area. Hey, John, what's up? All right, so let me go ahead. I'm going to just move my screen around so I can still see your guys' comments as I read this to you. Again, I'm just going to say it now. I'm having a hard time with some of the statements that they're giving us. So, as you can see, this is going to be Comal County Sheriff's Office says no criminal connection in death of Shana Dimambro. Let me just scroll down for you guys. All right, so the Comal County Sheriff's Office on Friday ruled out homicide as the cause of death for Shana Dimambro, the 45-year-old Spring Branch woman who went missing 10 days before searchers discovered her body a week ago. Now, based on our investigation, we don't have any evidence of criminal offense. CCSO Criminal Investigations Division Captain Rocky Millican said. He says, we do not believe there is any danger to the public, and obviously we're continuing the investigation into the cause of death. So again, based on their investigation, they don't have any evidence of a criminal offense right now. And they do not believe that there is any danger to the public. I feel like that is a statement we always hear from law enforcement. Grieving family members recall Dimambro as a kind-hearted woman with a gentle soul. Her husband, Chris Antos, reported her missing when she wasn't home when he came home early for lunch July 19th. Hey, Amanda, see you popping in right there. I don't believe those statements whatsoever. I'm having a hard time with a lot of things that they're putting out right now also. Now, again, preliminary. Now, Dimambro's body was found laying face up. Now, I do want to say that this statement right here, Dimambro's body was found laying face up. Now, the searcher, we watched this on Thursday. He says that she was face down in a looked like a crawling position. That's what he had stated. Now, the other searcher, DJ, he actually, in an interview he did with Judy Ron, he actually said she was face up. But then it was questioned, people started questioning this in the Facebook group that I'm in and that he's also in, and they were like, how come there's different statements? DJ then made a statement saying that he was actually wrong, that he's never seen a deceased body before. And he said, no, in fact, he made a mistake. In fact, she was face down. So this article still says she was found laying face up. Again, law enforcement hasn't released anything to us. But it seems like she was face down. So I'm not sure why this article is saying face up. And again, I'm going based off what the searchers that found her have said. Okay. Now, again, she was found, I'm not going to say face up because the searchers again said that she was face down, but in the middle of the dry retention pond, just yards away from her Mitchell Drive residence in Spring Branch on July 29th. Now, that dry retention pond was dry prior to her even being reported missing. It's really dry out there in Texas. They had like no rain. Preliminary results from an autopsy conducted on Tuesday by the Travis County Medical Examiner's Office indicated no obvious trauma to the body. Jennifer Smith from CCSO Public Information Officer said. Investigators are awaiting final autopsy toxicology results, which again can take between 6 months to a year. I know I have with a lot of the cases we hear 3 to 6 months, but they're saying 6 months to a year to get everything from that autopsy results. So no obvious trauma to the body. So that can be preliminary autopsy, right? They're examining the body. So I'm going to just assume there's no gunshot, right? And the reason I say that is because it seems like what's being put out is that, one scenario would be that she was depressed and going through her spiritual warfare, and it seems like she might have taken her own life, right? But if there was no obvious sign to the trauma to the body, again, that would tell me no stab wounds. It seems like no gunshot wounds. But this doesn't mean, I know some people were saying, well, that doesn't mean she wasn't suffocated or drugged or even strangled, because her body was greatly decomposing at the moment when they did find her. She was out there about, it seems like, we don't know the day of death, but it seems like she would have been out there quite some time. And then you got to think of the elements, the weather, all of that stuff. But they're saying no obvious trauma to the body. Now, we're still waiting on, and I just want to say, if that toxicology report comes back, because if they're saying no obvious trauma to the body, again, that means no gunshot, no stab wound from obviously from the looking at her body, right? If the toxicology report comes back with nothing in her system, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm just gonna say that right now. And even if something does come back, in my mind, I always think, well, how do we know she even did that to herself? Someone else could have done it, right? They could have drugged her, poisoned her. Now, it says that we're still waiting on one result from a case last year, he said, but they're working. Oh, so it was asked, why was it going to take up to a year? Because that is kind of a long time. And it says that they're still waiting on one result from a case last year, he said, but they are working on ways to try to expedite these results conducted outside of the presumptive identification. So again, I don't know this county, I should have looked into that all before. Now, CCSO detectives Anthony Moreno and Rebecca Coons are working the investigation and have returned several times to the residence Shana shared with her husband in Texas. Now, again, it was at a RV park. Now it says that the husband has been fully cooperating with them during this whole investigation. It's a bad experience. I don't understand it, the husband said on Friday. It's challenging and I'm just trying to get through it. I'm at a loss. It's the worst thing anyone goes through. I think I'm just trying to figure out how to battle through it. Now, the husband said that Shana was trying to resolve personal issues. And he says that without a doubt, she was battling depression and had a troubled past, he said, choking up. We are people of faith, and he had some spiritual workers trying to help us through that. Now, this right here was new to me. We are people of faith and had some spiritual workers trying to help us through that. So I'm wondering, does that mean they were going to a church? Who are these spiritual workers, or was this something that just that they were reading with the Bible? I don't know. That just was like, did they go to church? Because, excuse me, when he did his interview, he said pretty much they did nothing, right? They didn't go anywhere. They were introverts. She didn't work. The most thing she did with her days was just go out 100 yards to do laundry, and that pretty much was all she really did. They really didn't do much. So I don't know. I'm wondering, did they go to a church? I don't know. This was just new to me, and it kind of I just was like, Now it says that Chris said the couple celebrated their first wedding anniversary, May 29th. Again, they've been married a year. And then it says, all we wanted was to grow old together here out in the woods. He said, she had a beautiful heart. She took care of my mom earlier this year. She was a very kind and compassionate person who always rooted for the underdog. She loved everybody. And don't think I'm ignoring your guys' comments. Hey, Vicky Lane. Pink says this almost sounds missing 411. No cause of death, no injury to the body. From the preliminary autopsy, because they look at the body, and yeah, no obvious trauma to the body. Echo Search always starts their searches in a 5-mile radius. She wasn't there during the search. Now, here's the thing. I've been trying to get the most details from that search from Echo Search. Where did they actually go out and search exactly is what I personally have been trying to find. Yes, I know they went out there and they searched. I know there was drones out there. And that's another question. And I'm glad you say that because, you know, initially law enforcement didn't do a search, right? Because for one, when a 45-year-old is reported missing and there's unfortunately no signs of a crime that's been taken place or no sign of like a burglary or she was on medication maybe and she left it, there's not much they're really going to do at first, right? So it was actually EchoSearch actually got involved and helped, but I still haven't seemed to find the details of exactly what they did. And I've been trying to get that information. We know that there was two other people who helped with searches, Eric Herr, and then there was DJ. What was his last name? There was DJ. I don't remember his last name. But Eric Herr, he's from Search and Support San Antonio, so he helped, and he was also the one who actually found her. And then we have the other one, DJ, who he had like a watering company. He knew the area, and he worked around the area, and he had a lot of stuff that he can help with the search. But again, I have no idea what EchoSearch actually did. Now, we do know that no one actually searched that property because it was private. But again, if they had drones out there, I'm just wondering, didn't the drone go around that area? I don't know. Can't seem to find that out. No, there was no water in that dry retention pond, and it had been dry even prior to her going missing, Pink. Yep, she could have been poisoned or drugged, and you won't see that until the toxin. Yep, very, very true. But here's the thing, too. What if, what if they do find something in her system and then it's ruled that she uh, unliving, right? Because when you listen to the husband's interview, it does seem like, okay, she was depressed. You know what I mean? So I'm worried that it's going to be ruled as she did this. But what if she didn't do it? And the reason I say that, because when we look, I went back and I re-listened to his interview and I really listened to what he said about what he seen when he got home. Think about it, okay? Yes, he says that she was depressed. Again, this is coming from him. She was depressed, that she had an addiction, but he says it was years ago, and that she was, just having a hard time with all of that. And, but think about it. He comes home, he says that he sees her charger. He sees her phone, it's plugged into the charger. If you're going to unalive yourself, do you really care to charge your phone? Then he also stated that her cigarettes were outside next to a full glass of water. And I think that's important because that sounds like to me that she wasn't planning on leaving anyone or being gone long. Why are you going to pour yourself a full glass of water? Also, he says that what was surprising to him was that their dog was out of the kennel. which made me kind of think, was she planning on taking the dog for a walk? Did she step out for a moment, even though he says they go nowhere? To me, what the scene looks like from what he says, it just doesn't seem like she was planning on going and unliving herself. It doesn't. To me, it seemed like, if anything, she wasn't planning on being gone, or she was going to just step away really quick and come back. Cigarettes still on the table next to a full glass of water, her phone plugged into the charger. And another thing also, when she was found with no clothes on. One thing that people have said, and they said this many times in the groups I've seen, and then when we had our discussion, is people who smoke cigarettes, even if you were depressed, you're going anywhere, you take your cigarettes with you. Her cigarettes were found there. One thing I also was wondering, is there any cigarette butts next to where she was found? I don't know. That's just something I'm wondering. But again, she was found with no clothes on. You're gonna unlive yourself and you take your clothes off? I don't know. It's very strange to me. Hey, open minds, good to see you. Nicole says her family lives in that county. I'm just trying to catch up to your guys' comments. Give me a second. The husband also stated that she didn't take any medication. She wasn't on any medication either. Even if she was having problems, why not seek help with a doctor, not spiritual workers? And some spiritual workers want to do it. I mean, I don't know. Very true. Prayers help with spiritual warfare. I agree, Heather Marie. That's how I feel. Andrew says, in another article, they said 2 months to a year can be half a year, but many bodies they have examined, if one new body will take so long period of time, it can't be in so bad condition. Well, and that's another thing that people were saying too, is that, he brings right away, it's put out that she was, depressed, and he brings up her past. Um, but he doesn't really give us too much details on it, but yet he gave us all those details of when she took care of his mom. I felt like a little too much details with that. I think definitely nothing with this makes sense to me. Nothing. Delana says that she's not leaving without her smokes. Yeah. Face down. Again, nothing's coming from law enforcement. I just want to make that very clear. This is coming from the searchers, but face down, and it seems like a crawling position. No open minds, not at all. No, not this case. No. No, he's stating that she was depressed, and she was going through some spiritual warfare. No, no. And, I honestly don't know where I stand with this. Like, I'm having a hard time just based off what he says, how when he came home, how everything looked. It just doesn't seem like, you know, she was planning on going unliving herself. Like, I don't know, having her phone in the charger, her cigarettes right there and outside next to a full glass of water. Again, he says that her Bible was on the kitchen table. Um, their dog was outside of the kennel, and he says that was surprising to him. So that makes me wonder, was she planning on taking the dog out for a walk or something like that? I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like she was planning on doing that based off of what he's saying, that how it looked when he got there. the only thing, you guys, that I'm having a hard time with the husband, to be honest, to say, okay, if he did anything, why would he place her 200 yards from the house, from where they lived in the RV? He had access to a vehicle. He worked. She had a vehicle. He could have taken her somewhere else. Why place her there? And keep in mind the property they found. I don't know if I have the picture here, but the property they found, it's on. It has like a fence going around it, and it has a gate, a locked gate. So I mean, it's not a high fence, but if she did, she climbed it. I don't know. I have so many questions with this one. Nicole says that she herself is a smoker, and even if she would go to the corner store, I take my cigarettes just in case something's, yeah. And I've seen other people put that, at times they even consider taking their own life, and their cigarettes was right next to them. This is something that I also think, Heather Marie, and I said this in the last live, maybe he was going through major spiritual warfare and did this unknowingly. He says that she was having issues, dealing with issues of her past. He says that they're Christians, they're believers, that Jesus Christ forgives you, he says, but he thinks that maybe she possibly was having a hard time with that, believing that, forgiving herself. Me speculating, I was wondering if possibly he was having, and this is just me speculating, if he was possibly having a hard time for whatever she had done in her past. I mean, I don't know. He is guilty. He was trying to cover his ass by giving too much information. He mostly likely took the dog out. And again, I mean, all of this stuff that he says, how everything was left behind, could have just been staged. It all could have been staged to make it seem like she did this. I thought the Bible being open on the table was interesting, because it kind of like, if, he's stating that she's depressed and all of this stuff, looking at her Bible before she possibly did something. But then also, why take your clothes off if you're planning on unlive? I don't know. I have no idea. Open Mind says that she used to carry extra packs just in case. Well, he stated that her cigarettes were right there. I was thinking possibly maybe she took a couple with her. Again, I'm not a smoker. That's why I was just wondering, is there any cigarette butts around where she would have been found? No, Open Minds, you're way off. You're way off, girl. Heidi, thank you for sharing that information with us. She says, I've attempted unliving myself multiple times in my teens and 20s and always had my smokes nearby. I chain smoked up until I lost consciousness. Oh, well, I hope you're at a better place, Heidi. And thank you again for sharing something that personal with us. And again, what you're saying isn't something new. I have seen other people say the same thing about their cigarettes. Yes, if you guys can give me some more likes, I really would appreciate that. And I'm not the only one who's left with questions either. Even her family member did a brief interview where she's also having questions based off what they're giving us. And you guys, I didn't post it, but the stepmom, Vicky, she stated, let me read this to you. Hold on. Which kind of upset me, to be honest with you. Hold on. Now, the stepmom, again, her name is Vicky. She also has a YouTube channel, you guys. I shared it on the last live. That's how I actually learned about this case. But when it came out that this article right here that I'm reading to you guys came out, it started being shared in Facebook group, and the stepmom Vicky said it would have been really nice if they would speak to the family once in a while, especially before they make announcements. So they didn't even let the family know before they released this information to what is this, the Herald, which I thought is disrespectful. I think the family should always know what's going to be released before anybody else does. And I was surprised to see they weren't notified first before this. And again, like I stated, they didn't even give an official statement on their own on their own social media. They didn't give anything. This we all learned about all this information through this article right here, and why everybody's having questions over it. Heidi, well, I'm glad you're doing much better. And congrats on being a grandma. Let me finish reading this. So let's see. I'll start from right here again. So Chris, the husband, he brightened while recalling how Shana helped everyone all the time when seeing those in need at a packed concert or waiting red lights at a busy intersection. He says, I would turn around without seeing her give them money or need things they needed, he said. Shana's father, Brian, and stepmother, Vicky, are also grieving. Shana would have helped anyone in need, even to the point of doing without herself. I saw it happen many times. Again, this is coming from her stepmom, Vicky, said on Thursday she would want something really bad and would buy it, and then someone would need it and she would hand it off. She says, I'm not just saying that, this is who she was. I believe very much in the Bible and what it says about adoption. It is very clear. It is more important than any other connection, she said. This is again the stepmom. This is what we believe. She is our daughter and we love her dearly. So, Shayna's dad adopted her, and that's why she makes that statement right there. I guess because, believe it or not, you guys, early on when this first happened, I guess people were commenting about Vicky not really being her mom because she was a stepmom, which I took so offensive. I couldn't believe people were saying the comments they were. So I think that's why she said this comment right here. At the end of the day, those are her parents. Regardless if you're a stepmom, adopted, but you are the parent. Now it says Shayna's uncle, Robert Dimambro, he's a retired Houston police detective, said he is awaiting word on the investigation as a family member. Now, the Comal County investigators are going to find out everything, he said on Friday. I am very confident about that. Yeah, exactly, Heather. I totally agree with that. Okay, let me play this for you guys. This is going to be, again, I have a lot of questions. I know a lot of people that have been following this case have a lot of questions. Again, no obvious trauma to the body is what it's being said. Also, no criminal connection in the death. And I just feel like, how are you going to give a statement so fast? No criminal connection in the death. I don't know. I wish all this would have been released once everything was finalized with the investigation. But that's just my personal opinion. Now, this is going to be Shayna's aunt. She also wants answers on how her niece died. So let me play this for you guys. Give me 1 second. Can I make this bigger? Yes. I'll play it.
All right, desperate for answers, the aunt of Shana Dimambro wants to know how her niece died. Now, the Comal County Sheriff's Office ruled out homicide in her case. Kenside reporter Sarah Duran with the latest on the investigation. It's so hard.
Lisa Dimambro Schneider doesn't have the words to describe her family's grief.
I think deep down,
In all our hearts, we knew.
The grim fate of her 45-year-old niece, Shana Dimambro. The missing woman's body found more than a week ago in a dry retention pond yards from where she lived with her husband.
It's very, very difficult to wrap your brain around.
Especially knowing it could take the Travis County Medical Examiner a year to determine how she died. However, a preliminary autopsy revealed no obvious signs of trauma. On Friday, the Comal County Sheriff's Office also ruled out any criminal connection in her death, adding her husband has been very cooperative with investigators. Still, her aunt says,
It gives me absolutely zero closure. It gives me more questions.
Shana's husband previously said his wife struggled with sadness.
Did you know of any mental health issues?
In my heart, I know there was probably some depression.
For now, Lisa finds comfort in knowing her niece was loved, thanking people who came together to search for her when she was missing.
She didn't know these people, and I wish she would have, because that may have helped her in the end.
In Spring Branch, Sarah Duran, KENS 5.
And a public memorial for Shana is scheduled.
Well, apparently Rose, with this one, no. Nicole says, the S word seems like an embarrassing way to go, but to take your clothes off doesn't sound right. I've had thoughts, but never to unclothe myself if I was going to do seems humiliating. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just having a hard time with that. Why remove the clothes? And the questions we're having, obviously her family's having these questions too. I mean, I look at her photos and I just think, I wonder what was she going through? I mean, he says that, she didn't work, she didn't go anywhere. All she would do would walk 100 yards to do laundry. That's what she did with her days. That was the only thing she would do. Um, I don't know. She didn't have any friends, it seemed like. Um, you know, the family hadn't even met Chris because they were planning on dinner dates and they kept getting canceled. I don't know. I wonder what really happened to her. Being undressed, her cigarettes left, a full cup of water left, um, phone in the charger, and then the dog out of the kennel. I don't know. Her being unclothed, and again, coming from a searcher, it seemed like drag marks. Again, that's coming from the searcher in the position smack in the middle of the dry pond, facing down, possibly in a kneeling position. It's just, I don't know. Something definitely just isn't adding up for me. And if you guys know me, I'm not big on conspiracy. I'm not that person. But with this one, it's just, I don't know. And again, what if it was someone who knew that property? One thing that the searcher was saying is that, it's where it's located. If you're in that area, you have to know the area. And then again, where she was found, it was private property. The owner didn't even live there. So it's kind of like, what if someone who knew that area or possibly lives in that area did something? I don't know. I'm not taking anything off the table. Anything off the table. What if someone was obsessed with her that lived around there? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know about that one. Yeah, Pink says she drives me with conspiracies. It's just this one's just not. It's just 1 + 1 isn't equaling the two for me with this one. I'm sorry. Well, Heidi also made a statement when the reporter asked him, did she what was the question? It was something like, what was the, I don't want to quote it, something like either would she be talking to anybody else about anything, or would she go to anybody else, or something like that. But he kind of made a comment like, no, only with him. It didn't seem like she had any friends or did anything really. He says that they were introverts. I don't know. He could have picked the lock. I wanted more information exactly on the lock. I know there is one of the subscribers. I need to message her because she actually lives around there, and she helped search for. This is when she was missing. She helped with the search. She's the one who told me that there was actually, because I was like, is there cameras right there? She was like, no, no cameras right there. Shitty Wi-Fi service. She's the one who told me that there is a gate that has a lock, and I kind of want, and she said a fence going around, and I kind of wanted to see what exactly that looks like. Um, man, I don't know. I don't know, you guys, with this one. Nicole, you're so funny. Nicole says, I would love to go undercover with men like this and see what I can get out of them. I know it's a risk, but I would be willing to take. Heather, no way, girl. No way. No way. And again, the husband is innocent until proven guilty, but unfortunately, with a lot of cases, it is usually the person closest to the person that's either gone missing, or it usually is a spouse, unfortunately, with a lot of cases, especially with the ones we cover here at the channel. You know, I'm just having a hard time with what he says, how everything looked when he got home. Um, you know, the SIGs again, all of that. I don't know. Another thing that just stood out to me too in his statement was that once he looked for her around inside the RV, and then he went to the laundry area to see if she possibly was there, even though the baskets were there inside the RV. He said that he then got in his car and he went to Big Station. I guess it's near like there's like a shopping center, and he drove through to see if she was just wandering around, but he never mentioned going to the neighbors. You know, and we looked at the photos that's been released from the news media. You know, the RV seemed pretty close to me, but he didn't go to the neighbors and say, hey, did you see her out? Or, you know, they have a dog, so you have to take the dog to go use the restroom. I mean, even though the dog was there, I would have just thought, go to the neighbors, ask, hey, did you see her? I don't know. And another thing, it has been put out that no one actually seen her, physically have seen her, besides obviously her husband, since the fifth. So last time anyone seen her outside her household, besides that means her husband, would have been the 15th or 16th. Yeah, he explained his whole morning pretty good. You know, he says that they got up around 6:20, started moving around, he said. And then again, they had some conversation about coffee. She asked how he wanted his coffee, something like that. And then he said she looked really sad again in her eyes. And he told her if she can do a load of laundry. And then he left for work. He says he got in his vehicle at 7:10. He said he knew it was 7:10 because he timed that, just because I guess he was trying to figure out the time he was going to get to the office. So he knew it was exactly 7:10 because of that. He came back. Again, he works usually around 45 minutes. But he came back So I guess he went to his job and then he came back because there was a job down the road that had installed crew workers working on installing a air conditioner. So he came back for that. Then he had another sales call at 2 p.m. For new brothels. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. And he says in his own wording, he had some time to kill. So he decided to go back and check on his wife. And that's when it all unfolded. I don't know. I know. But here again, okay, why not move her farther though? I'm just having a hard time with the whole being right there. I don't know. I don't even know what kind of vehicle he drives. How many of you, again, this is a true crime discussion channel. We go through everything here. We go through facts, but we also speculate and go over theories and stuff like that. How many of you guys think the husband is questionable at least? We'll say that. Put a 1 if you think he's questionable. I'm wondering, you guys might think, what? I'm wondering if it was someone who lived in that property, to be honest with you. I'm wondering that. I don't know why I'm leaning towards something like that. I'm wondering if it was someone in that property on that RV park that lived there. So I'm seeing a lot of 1s. Vicky says 1, Sunny 1, Nicole 1, Rose with Thorns 1, Delana a 1, Heather Maria 1, Valeria 1. I don't know why I'm kind of leaning towards that right now. I'm leaning towards, what if it was someone, because then I think they would know that property. They would know that no one lives there. And it would probably be the closest to put her body there. Why would the husband put her there? I don't know. I'm just having a hard time with that. Oh, Rose, we're so used to a mistress being involved in these cases. Rose says, what if it wasn't him, but he was having an affair? So far, no mistress or even her having an affair. None of that has come forward yet. Is there a life insurance? I don't know about that. Also, the last time the father, I'm still trying to find out, because the father said that he actually was speaking with Chris on the phone, and I'm trying to find out when exactly that was, because he said that's the last time he heard his daughter's voice. She was in the background and she had said something like, hi dad, sorry, I'm busy cooking, or something like that. But I'm trying to find out when that exactly was that he heard her voice. Nicole says, if it was searched and then he thought they wouldn't go back there, why not put her out there? Well, it wasn't searched though. So that is this, and this information is coming from one of the searchers, was that area where she was found is one area that they couldn't go on, like the people that were helping with the search, because one, it was private property. So they actually had to go and find out who the LLC was to that property, find out who it was. Then they found out who it was. They contacted them and said, can they go and, let them know. I was just, well, I'm thinking they don't live there, so maybe they didn't know what was going on with the property, with the area, that there was a woman missing. But he agreed. He came down and he opened the gate and went in there with one of the searchers. So originally it hadn't been searched. I mean, you can easily have just climbed over the fence and searched it, but of course they're not going to want to get in trouble for that. I feel like for me, if my loved one was missing, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't even think about my own, like, getting arrested. I would just be like, I want to search everywhere. Especially how he says she goes nowhere. Her car was left there. She left wearing flip-flops. Vicky Lane says, I feel if someone else did it, there would be visible trauma. Unless, I mean, again, if she was smothered, would that show immediate signs of that from the preliminary autopsy? And she was already really bad decomposing also when she was found. And again, this is coming from, what it looked like. One of the searchers said that in her hand, you can already see skeleton on her hand. The searcher, Eric Kerr from Search and Support San Antonio, he said when he did his interview, he said that you could see a human skull. You could see deterioration in the bone in the hands and arm, he said. He said that she was facing down in a crawling position. She wasn't wearing clothes, and he couldn't tell if she was wearing her flip-flops. Hey, Melmac. Melmac, you're so funny. And I know, because this was a comment last time, a lot of people are going through their own spiritual warfare. They're going through, a lot of people are depressed. We're hearing about, what about that one lady that, she's caught on video camera leaving her residence. She's supposed to be going to work. Then her body was found in a vehicle. Like, I understand all of that. But for this one, just looking at everything, her phone, her cigarettes, a full glass of water, her dog being out of the kennel. It just, it doesn't seem like somebody would do all of that if you were going to go unalive yourself. To me, it seems like she wasn't planning on being gone if she stepped away. Or it's staged. I don't know. I know, Heather. I totally agree with you on that. Delana says, like I said before, Tom Sharkey didn't take his wife too far either, and let's all remember he was guilty as F. Very true. Very true. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. This is just one that I'm going to be following, and I want to do another live where we look more into details with the husband. I also want to look at the area too, exactly like who lives around this area. Yeah. And I still want to watch the other searcher, DJ. He did an interview with Judy Ron. Now, in that interview, he did say that he's seen drag marks, drag marks near her body, and Judy Ron clipped that part out. But I still want to listen to what he had to say about what he's seen when he got there. I don't know, you guys. This one's just getting me. Yeah, definitely prayers for her family. I hope that, this gets fully investigated and the truth, if someone did this to her, that comes to light, and they are held responsible. I hope so. Let's see. Curious Cat says, it seems like the dog would have been running back to the fence area if she climbed it while the dog was out trying to get to her. And another thing I'm wondering, The dog isn't a little dog, right? We've seen the dog. It's not a small dog. The dog's name is Maisie, I believe. Um, I'm taking it as the dog was inside. That's what I'm taking it as. Um, oh, definitely too many inconsistencies. And they had the drones out there too. Like, didn't it 200 yards from where she, that's another thing that people, I'm just like, it's not sitting right. But again, I need to see, does anyone know, did those drones hit that property? I know they didn't physically on the ground walk the property, but did the drone go in that area? Also, think about it. They had Texas Echo Search out there. I agree, Melmac. It's always the first thing I do because, yeah. Well, thank you, Melmac, for that comment. I appreciate that. And I like coming on here and talking with you guys because sometimes, even like me, I'm here, I'm going through with other cases too. I'll be going through reports and watching body cam footage, and I'm trying to figure things out. And then I come on here and we all talk about it, and you guys will say something that just makes it click for me. So we all come here and we try to put our thoughts all together, try to figure this out. So let me see. Hold on, let me go through my screenshots because I'm not sure if you guys are in the Facebook groups for this case. Hold on, let me see. I did take I believe I took a screenshot of that. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay, so this, let me send this to myself. Hold on. And again, this is coming from the searcher DJ. Hold on. Let me send this. Hold on. DJ Seeger, that's his last. I couldn't think of his last name. I'm sorry. Let me get this. Hold on, guys. Give me one second. Let me show you this. And of course, law enforcement is being quiet, but we do have the searchers that are giving us information. And I'm one person that I want to hear the information and I want to talk to you guys about it. I know some people don't, but I want to talk about it with you guys. Let me show you guys this one. All right. Let me stop sharing. Where did it go? And again, thank you guys for being here with me. If you haven't hit the like button, if you will please be so kind, it helps me out. I truly appreciate that. All right, it's just loading. Let me share this here. All right, downloads. Okay, so, all right. All right, so this is coming from one of the searchers. His name is Donald DJ Seeger. He says that, and this was a response to some of the comments. People just have a lot of questions with everything with this case. He says, he's following up to a response. So I'm with all of you. I find it hard to believe she wasn't the M word. She was naked with no shoes. He's saying no shoes in the bottom of a dry pond. She was in the direct center of the pond. There was also drag marks at her feet, he says. I can't imagine an animal dragged her directly to the middle of the pond. The sheriff's office has a lot to explain about their findings. Again, this is coming from one of the searchers that were there. He was actually, so it was Eric from Search and Eric Herr from Search and Support San Antonio. He was there first with the property owner, and then DJ was actually, I believe he said he was talking to, I don't know if he said a mailman, but he was talking to someone nearby because they were saying there was a smell, a really bad odor or something like that. And then Eric called DJ and said that they believed they found her. So then he went over there to where they were at. So he actually was also, he's seen it. And again, in his interview, he did say, I'm reading another comment he wrote. He says he thought she was face up. He says that the remains were so badly decomposed, and he says he had never seen anything like that. It was quite disturbing. She was, in fact, face down, he says. Vicky says, Echo Search uses drones. I don't think she was at that location when they searched. Yeah, I'm having a hard time with that too, Vicky. I agree. Open Mind says smothered, no. Strangled, yes. Sugar says this case is driving her. Yeah, it's driving me wild too. Open Mind says, so you don't think she took her own life, is what you're saying, Open Minds? Put a 1 in chat if you think she unlived herself, if she did this. A 2 if you don't. I'm personally, I don't think so. I'm having a hard time with it right now. That's one thing I can say. I just don't think so. My opinion, of course. Yeah, the other searcher, Open Minds, Eric Herr, stated that she was face down, looked like a crawling position. But again, she was naked. I mean, I don't know. And there hasn't been any mention whatsoever from anybody, not even the husband, on any mental illness. None of that. So all that's been stated from the husband is that she was once, a long time ago, she suffered from an addiction before, and that she was going through a spiritual warfare and depression. She was wearing, okay, so when he last seen her, he says she was wearing flip-flops. It doesn't seem like on the other searcher, he said he couldn't tell if she was wearing her shoes because of how her body looked, but there was no clothes, he said, but he couldn't tell. So I'm seeing 2, a lot of 2s. You guys are saying 2. You don't believe she did this. So Valerie says a 2. Sugar says 2. Heather 2. Candeli, did I say that correct? It says 2. Curious Cat 2. Delana 2. Joni 2. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I'm just not. Yeah, Malmac, I agree with that. I agree. She says, no shoes. Females usually don't alive themselves nude. Read about it. Yeah, I agree. I really agree with that one. And then I want to know, because the searchers, they don't know if she was wearing shoes or not. The other one says he didn't know if she was wearing shoes. DJ is saying there was no shoes. So I'm not sure if she was or not. But if she was wearing shoes, you take your clothes off, but you leave your shoes on. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. No, Curious Cat. The husband stated that she didn't take any medication. They didn't take any medication. So, no. And if she did unlive herself, if no medication, they weren't on any medication, I'm really interested in hearing that tox report. But I thought I took a photo of the clothes. Hold on. I guess I didn't. Hold on, I'm just looking at some of my screenshots, see if I did. So I guess originally they wanted to search for on that property on Sunday, but they couldn't get a hold of the owner to get permission. See, DJ says right here in this, hold on, let me screenshot, let me send this so you guys can see this. Hold on, guys. Okay, hold on. One second. All right, so. All right, so right here, he says they wanted to search that property on Sunday, 7/24, but couldn't get a hold of the owner to get permission. He says there was a drone search of that same area where she was found. I'm not sure why they didn't notice the remains, he says. I saw the remains and they were very much out in the open, no trees or brush. So it seems like, based off of what this guy is saying, one of the searchers, and he is one that was helping with the search from the beginning, he is stating that there was a drone search of that area and it didn't see her. Oh man, I don't know. Vicky says, I'm curious how many significant others would remember what clothes you had on that morning. Mine probably wouldn't remember, to be honest. I mean, I wouldn't even know what mine wears when he leaves the house, because I'm like, when he leaves, I'm still sleeping. So I just glance at him. So I wouldn't even know, to be honest. But that's just because I'm not fully up. Now, my kids, I know what they leave wearing. Curious Cat says, mine certainly wouldn't. Well, Malmac says, while being nude speaks volumes for me. Like ever. Yeah, I agree. Heather. But she was wearing a robe, though, and I'm sorry about that for your mom. She says, but being naked doesn't seem odd to me. But again, your mom was still covered. For us, too, she was found outside 20 yards from where she lived. So it's not like she was in the privacy of her own home. She was outside of the privacy of her own home, where they lived in a RV park where I believe they say there's like 15 other RVs in that area. I believe that it's been stated. She was out in the open for everybody to see her. And again, I'm sorry about your mom. Thank you, Open Minds, for that. All right, you guys. So I'm going to wrap up this live. Honestly, I wasn't feeling too good today, but I didn't want to miss this live. I didn't want to cancel it because, one, I think this is in a very, very, very important case, this information, and it is definitely one we're going to continue covering. We're going to continue watching things and going over things and really deep diving into stuff. I hate cases that leave me like this. The only thing, and Heather Marie, that I'm wondering about the being unclothed, would it be, is there anything that maybe, what could be unclothed signify? Her unclothing herself signify? Like, I need to look more into that. I don't know. Again, this would be the dry retention pond that she was found. On this side over here is going to be where where the RV park is located. Again, there is a fence going around this property, private property. Owner didn't live there. There's a gate, a lock gate to enter it. I just want to know what happened to Shana. Yeah. Well, again, too, like DJ was stating, and what animal would be able to drag her that's in that area? Heather says she wouldn't, and we can talk later about it. Thank you, and I appreciate you being here with me. It's okay, Melmac. Don't worry, it's good. I know YouTube letting people know is kind of weird right now because I've been quiet for about a month. So I'm hoping the more I go live, it should just help with letting you guys know on time when I go live. And I'm trying to post when I go live at least the night before so you guys are aware of it instead of just being like, hey, I'm live. I also did another live prior to this one where I go into more details. It is a 2-hour live, the other one. We do watch the husband's interview. He did 2 interviews. One is a very short one, and then one is about 13 minutes. We do go over that. I would suggest watching that so you can hear in his own words and how he says things. We also had a good discussion. Like I said, that was about a 2-hour live, and I do go over everything in that live. I would think so. Think so too, Melmac. That's why I just think, how they're coming, how law enforcement is saying there's no criminal. What was their wording? They said so fast saying that already, stating no. Comal County Sheriff's Office saying no criminal connection, and that we do not believe there is any danger to the public, and obviously continue the investigation into the cause of death. It says, based on our investigation, we don't have any evidence of a criminal offense. Preliminary results from an autopsy conducted on Tuesday by the Travis County Medical Examiner's Office indicated no obvious trauma to the body. So if and animals got to her, wouldn't that be obvious? Oh, thank you, Heather, for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, one thing that just sticks out to me that just makes me seem like she wasn't planning on doing that is just her charger being plugged into the charger. Do you really, if you're planning on doing that, do you care if your phone is charged? Also, her cigarettes being outside next to a full glass of water. To me, that sounds like, hey, you pour yourself a glass of water. Maybe she was going to sit down, have a smoke, drink her water. Did something happen? Did someone show up? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. And again, I just don't think a fight happened because the way the trailers are, they're so close to each other, it seems like. I would think someone would have heard them arguing. I don't know. Yes, Curious Cat. There is quite a few Facebook groups. If you go on Facebook, just type her name and you'll see them all pop up. The one that her family is hold on. The one that her family, let me get it for you. So there's oops. I know her family is in for sure the one that says Shana Dimambro missing, and it has a photo of her um, with some butterflies. That's the one that you see a lot of activity from, like the searchers, stuff that they write on there. Also, the family's been on there, and that's how I seen that the stepmom wrote that after this article was posted. I'm hearing that, which I thought really upset me. She wrote that it would have been really nice if, law enforcement would have spoken to the family once in a while. She says, especially before they make this announcements. So that's upsetting to know that they found all this out through this article and probably from it being shared in the Facebook group, which is unacceptable. Yeah, so that's going to be the one that I just stated. That and the other ones, that's the main one. It has, I'll tell you, it'll be easier for you to find too. It has 2,700 members, so just look for that one. There's like it looks like a picture of the sky and has a picture of her, Shana Dimambro missing, 2.7 K members in there. You'll see a lot of stuff by the searchers, but in the other groups, people share screenshots of what the searchers say too. So, but that's the main one that I'm in. Oh, did she? Hmm. You're welcome, Curious Cat. Yeah, Vicky. Someone in your last slide mentioned her body position, and she could have been kept in a bin. Then her body was placed there. This sounds logical to me. That also sounds logical to me, also. Uh, as of right now, I don't know. Allegedly, he says that the husband says she didn't take any medication. They didn't take any. They didn't go anywhere, he says. They were introverts. She didn't work. She didn't leave. The only place she would go during the day would be 100 yards to do the laundry. I guess they have probably like a laundry station. I don't know. I don't know. Open Mind says this would have had to be a spontaneous if unliving. I don't know. I don't know. All right, guys. I'm going to let you guys all go. I do want to thank you guys for tuning in for this discussion. I know today's a short one. The next one will be more lengthy. I do want to go through all of I want to take a closer look at everything. I know some people are wondering also about the husband's past, if he's if he has any criminal past, anything like that. So I do want to go into another discussion with all of that stuff. Again, not saying he in fact did it. There's nothing that I see personally where I'm like, yeah, he has, but there is definitely some red flags for me and just questionable things. So thank you guys again for being here. It is strange. And all of you guys, again, thanks for talking these cases out with me. I do appreciate that. And thank you to my mods for holding it down. I appreciate all of you guys. And until the next one, you guys enjoy your Monday. And I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.